5:15, I'd like to call the Finance Personnel Committee to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion, are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
So moved to accept the agenda. Second.
Second was Bob. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Looking for approval of the April 2nd meeting minutes
I'll make that motion. Second.
made by Bob, seconded by Mike. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to the Finance Director's monthly financial reports. Judy?
All right, we'll start out with the expenditure side. We are currently looking at March. So we are 25% of our way through the year. So when you're looking at a percentage, anything around 25% would make sense at this time. But then I usually go to this one, let's do one with more detail. So then I just usually go down this percentage right here, and anything that's different than 25, like insurance, that's because we pay all of those premiums, or most of the majority of those premiums in January. That's why that sits at 64%. Workers' comp is paid quarterly, so that's why there are dollars still in there. And then debt service, you can see that 76%, that's because we also pay most of our debt in the first 3 months of the year. And then we have an annual payment for social services. That's why that one's 5. But otherwise, everything is running as expected. Any questions on any of the expenditures through March 31st of 2025? All right, then we'll move on to revenues. And when I took a look at this, you can see that revenues are running just about the same percentage wise as the expenditures. So we're running at about 35%. When it comes to the revenue side, there's no 25% normal for collection of revenues. It's all over the place. Property tax collection in January, February, and then again in August, we get settlement. We get all of our property tax revenue and the county collects the rest. So highway aids are quarterly, library aids are semi-annually. So there is nothing, again, we're collecting at $63,000 in interest, so we're higher than anticipated there. And again, there's nothing on the revenue side. I expect all of our revenue to be collected by the end of the year at this point. Any questions on any of the revenues?
Hold still.
Where's my little?
Hold still.
There you go.
I'm turning for you.
All right, sorry. I'm trying to help.
There.
All right, and then we'll move on to assigned and unassigned fund balance. And there, I did not make any changes to assigned and unassigned fund balance to this date from January, or actually we assigned these at the end of the year, and there hasn't been any changes to any of these. Right here is our capital projects reserve, what we anticipate to take in, and the revenue in and the expenditures out, and then a list of projects that did not get completed in probably the last 2 years that we're still working on. And then our cable TV reserve, and then all our assigned fund balance for each particular purpose. Those are earmarked on here. And then we go down to unassigned fund balance, and I would expect an update to that balance coming up, in the next couple of months once our audit is completed. So right now it's unaudited, but then we'll change that number once we get our audit in. But again, there is no change to any of these designations or assigned or unassigned fund balance from the end of the year. Any questions on any of those? Right, then we have our wheel tax money. We have collected 21,288 to date. We have spent on House and Alcon engineering 4,550, so we have revenue of 16,738. We also have a fund balance in the account of 159, and we're anticipating using up to 50,000 for engineering on Alcan Road. And then also for North Street, we received that grant. So we'll be using some of the money for that project. Questions on that? And then we had a bonding in 2023, and we have 2 projects left to work on. We also have money for the House, Alcon, Liberty Roads in this bonding, and then the library donation for $500,000 that we still are holding on to. So those are the only 2 projects left within that bonding. Any questions on any of that? All right, then we'll go on to my monthly report. I'd say it's extremely busy in our office, it's an understatement. So, we filed all the expenditure restraint information to the state. I need to file this on an annual basis. Our expenditure restraint is over $100,000. If I don't get this in on time, we will not receive it from year to year. Also got the information over to the U.S. Department of Treasury for our ARPA funding. Again, if we do not get this information in, we get penalized. So we have now spent $699,490 of that money on our downtown project. The remaining $42,819 will be used for the Oshkosh Street project. So then our ARPA funding will be fully expensed in 2025. All right, I continue to work with the auditors. In fact, I've had a number of questions today on the 24 year-end financials. So I worked on that. I attended the Wisconsin Government Finance Officers meeting. A lot of good information at that meeting on TID districts and affordable housing, and then a state budget update. Completed the revenue bonding for Ellers. In fact, today was the day we actually received the money in the bank. Physically have to be in the office when we receive money from bonding, so I took care of that and then moved the funding for the utility over to the utility co. So that process is finally finished, and I think it's about 2-3 months from beginning to end on a bonding. We are down a person in our office. As many of you probably have heard, our human resource payroll specialist position is open. So those resumes are closing tonight, actually. So if anyone's still interested in applying for that position, they will be closing. It'll be closing at midnight tonight. I think we received over 30 applications for that position, something like that. But again, it provides a lot of pressure within our office. So many of us are picking up responsibilities for that position. So hopefully we'll be able to fill that shortly. Well, it's going to take at least a month or 2 to get someone in here. I had to enter the audit entries into our year end and compare that audit information to the actual balances. And then with that, I do the state financial. I prepare the state financial report, of which I call it the tax return for the city. So I'm working on that. It's due by the 15th of the month again. A big report, and a lot of things are based on the information that we provide to the state, including our highways from year to year. I attended the CIVMIT, the Cities and Villages Mutual Insurance Company annual strategic planning meeting. Sent out account numbers from our 2025 capital projects so that people know where to charge their projects and their equipment for the year. I met with Corey at Edward Jones on our investment. And then I just have a number of reports that are due. Oh, I don't know what I did. Number of reports that are due in the next month, including that state financial report. Then we have the maintenance of effort for our fire department that I have to get to the townships that we serve so that they can get their information into the state. And then I have 4 to the annual reports that have to be completed, and then I have to meet with those committees and have them approve the report. Actually, after I submit it, then I get them in and to approve that annual report. So that's the highlights of what's going on. Any questions, comments?
All right, here, none, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Second. Been made by Bob, seconded by John. All those in favor?